So today I'm making a wild foraging video because quite a few people, you the viewer, have asked for foraging videos and cooking videos and those sort of things. Today I found 3 of the same mushroom in different stages of growth, and it's really rare. And it's amazing because I've never found mushrooms like this before in the same close proximity without being attacked by slugs or maggots. Now, for some unfathomable reason, these have gotten away with it. Now, the first specimen that caught my eye was this one here. For a mushroom to get to this age and to be in absolute pristine condition is indeed remarkable. Normally you get kids just kicking them over. Everywhere you go there's a mushroom growing, kids kick them over. Always got to destroy the life forms that they don't understand. Now this one has got a beautiful skirt hanging down here, and this one, it doesn't have much of a vulva here, so therefore I know this is not one of the deadly poisonous ones, but for lots of other reasons. Now the second one is here, but the beautiful thing about this is that it has the membrane almost entirely attached. I have never seen a mushroom this big with the membrane almost entirely. Now when I picked this mushroom, it was entirely attached, and I looked at it and I thought, wow, that is incredible. And so it's a beautiful specimen again with not a single blemish. Then I have one in the even earlier stages. So this particular mushroom is what is called agaricle. They're called agaricles, true mushrooms and toadstools, and there's like 4,000 different species of this variety of mushroom, as opposed to mushrooms like this. This is the classic that everybody has sought after, the chanterelle. But then you see we come into these pages and we start looking to try to identify this particular mushroom, and you have to look very close, and you have to be very careful as to the differences. And so I have 3 books which I'm choosing from down here, and to try to cross-reference. Now this particular one here, look how pretty identical these ones look, but the difference is with this one, that particular variety, that is a poisonous mushroom, and it's the colloquial name is called a yellow stainer. Now to discern whether I've got one of those, all I need to do is to rub the mushroom anywhere and it will stain yellow, and so that's the first thing I do. And if it stains remotely yellow, then I'm not touching it. But these haven't stained yellow, so therefore I can outrule that one, which means that these mushrooms are going to be edible. But it's the case of which particular one is it. So this one here is the Agaricus macrophorus, and it says edible, and when you look at that you go, okay, right, what have we got over here? But here you've got more precise descriptions in the writing. And then we have this particular variety, which is the horse mushroom, and this is an edible. And so we look at that, we're looking at all sorts of things. We're looking at the stem. Look at the stem, you see. The the stem's very similar to this one, and then we don't have one depicted here completely opened and flat like this. We have one with a membrane on like this, but usually the membrane breaks when it's about that big. So here is the yellow stainer, and it stains like that, and so you can see that the mushrooms I have are very similar to that, save that they are not staining. And so here there's another variety, this one here, which stains just on the stem. Not only, well, the only place it stains is kind of on the stem. Like these, they'll stain anywhere. This one is that is very dangerous, Xanthodermus, and so this is a rare one and it's poisonous. And so it stays here, bruising yellow when young. The cap obtusely convex, white at first, becoming smoky or greyish brown, bruising yellow when young. Or does it not bruise yellow when it's older? Evidently not. So you've got to make sure that you've got them when they're young, if you're going to be able to see them bruising yellow. Otherwise, if you eat them when they're mature and they don't bruise yellow, then the difference is between catching one when it's like this to when it's like this. And obviously there's more fruit here, more food here, so you'd really want to pick it like that. But if you picked it like that, you wouldn't have the opportunity of seeing if it's stained yellow, like this one. So there's just a bug that's just fell out of, it's one of those wood lice, put that out the window. And then this one here, what we got, this one is an edible one, and this one is an Agaricus excellens. And so I know I don't have one of those. Because there's no yellow staining on them. So I either have this one, and this one is supposed to be rare, but these ones don't appear to be rare. They seem to be all over the place. So then what we got here, we got the horse mushroom, and the horse mushroom is much more prolific. And so it appears that I have the horse mushroom, but I can't. You see, if you're going to risk not your life, because these mushrooms aren't deadly. It's not like the death cap or the destroying angel. They're deadly. You eat even a small bit of one of those, you're dead. And incidentally, not straight away. Often it can take 2 or 3 weeks before you end up dying, because they actually destroy your liver and there's no cure for it. And so you would think, well, why would you ever want to bother even risking it, Aaron? Yeah, I mean, why? Because they're just a mushroom. They're not that great. But I think the thing is the educational process. By the time I've educated myself and I've checked and cross-referenced, and I've done things like took spore prints, and I cut them down the centre to see if they discolour. Some blush pink, others discolour yellow, and of course the yellow ones are the poisonous ones. If it blushes pink, then you know you've got like one of the field mushrooms. You've got the horse mushroom, the field mushroom, and the pavement mushroom, and they're all edible. And but when you look at things like this and you go, which one do I have? And so you read about the stem, you read about the skirt, you read about the gills, you read about the coloration, you read about the vulva, which is the stem of the stem of the stem, or the root of the stem, and then you decide whether you're going to whack them in the pot or not. Smell. Not the most mushroomy smell. I've smelt. Pavement mushrooms seem to have more of a mushroomy smell. But it is there. And you see on this one, I don't know whether you can see it there, but you can see there's a little bit of red on this stalk here. And so I scratched this one earlier just a little bit and it never discoloured. And if I scratch it like that, normally, well, without a doubt, if this one was a yellow stainer, then that would be bruising yellow within seconds. And so we look at it and we see, oh, it's fractionally yellow, but it's not. If it was one of these poisonous ones, it would be very yellow. And so you look at them and you go, wow. I mean, for me, there's just something about them. They're a mystery to me. And when you can find them and you can eat them, and enjoy them, taste them, devour them, these creatures that have come from faraway galaxies on a meteorite, probably. Wow. Super rare, super rare. Every other one of these I've found has had slugs or maggots, and these are perfect specimens. It's probably telling me these are the ones for the pot, Aaron. You gotta whack these in the pot. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna whack these in the pot. But before I do that, I will go through once again, looking for all the things to make sure that I've actually got the right one. And I'm pretty sure it is the horse mushroom. And the ones that are poisonous, like you see here, they're staining yellow very profoundly, aren't they? And this one is staining yellow on the stem. Now, this one isn't edible, it's not staining yellow. This one's an edible, it's not staining yellow. And over here, the wood mushroom. This one again is edible. I'm confident I don't have that particular variety. That one looks a bit thin. But they're also very similar, aren't they? Also very similar. Now this one here, which is an edible, and this is the Macrosphaerus, Agaricus macrosphaerus, and this one has more of a bulbous stem on it, and it's got kind of like this shagginess going on, and my stems don't have the shagginess going on, and they're not bulbous like that, so it's not one of those. This one here is called the Prince, and this one is a very sought after one, because they say that they are very tasty and uncommon but good edibility. I haven't found any of these yet, and that's why, because they're uncommon. This one here, this one is the Bisporus, and what's the colloquial name of this one? Doesn't say what the colloquial name is. but it's an edible, and well, it doesn't say anything about any staining yellow or anything like that. This species is believed to be the wild parent of many of the cultivated crop varieties, all of which have two spored bacida, whatever that means. Some of you say, why bother? Why bother even remotely risking? You see, lots of these mushrooms, you know, there's only a very few which will kill you dead, but there's quite a few which will give you violent stomach pains, and you know, you're buckled in two and you're vomiting and all that sort of thing. Well, I mean, I've got no desire to experience that. And so the thing is, what I will do is I'll take a spore print, and how you take a spore print is that you break off the stem and you place this down on a plate, and the spores will drop out of it. And that will start to happen within half an hour, and I will be able to see what colour they are. But all of these, they stain brown, the pores are brown in any case. And so if I'm looking, for instance, at one of the poisonous varieties, they'll still have a brown spore. So this one here, for instance, or this one actually is called the yellow stainer. So that one is the yellow stainer. That's the colloquial name. The important name is the Exanthodermus, and they're all warning about this one, the Exanthodermus, and it's poisonous. And so it says here about the gills. The gills are white at first, then pale pink, finally grey-brown. Grey-brown, okay, so that one's easily discernible, because all these others, they all go very, very chocolate brown ultimately. And so you see that, well, the one I've showed you is chocolate brown, it's not a grey-brown. Then, let me see what it says about the spore print is purple-brown. So purple-brown spores. Now then, this one too is a poisonous one, and the spore print is brown. And so then when we go on to these which are edible, the spore print is brown. This one's edible, and the spore print is dark purple brown. So we can't have any guarantees from the spore print. But what I'm going on now is simply that these mushrooms aren't staining yellow, and that basically seems to be all I really need to know as far as this little grouping is concerned. I know it's not a death cap, and I know they're not destroying angels, because they have white gills, and they're a different mushroom altogether, even from a reasonably trained eye. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's do it whilst you can see here. Let's gently remove this, because when we remove this, and it will hang down like that, revealing the gills, hello, right, and the gills, they're kind of like a pinky, aren't they? and that's fine at this stage. Don't you think they're beautiful? There's something about mushroom. You know, when I go foraging for the Amanita muscaria, the beautiful dark rich red with the white dots of the membrane on, they're a magical looking mushroom, and they have they're white gills, and when you hold them up to the light and you can see the sunlight penetrating, and you see through the gills there's like a beam of orange light. And years ago I showed you on a video that I made, and I'll do it again this year. So yeah, there we have that. And so I think what I'll also do is, now I've enjoyed looking at this like this, it's starting to smell more mushroomy. I will take that away, and when we look and we see the light cascading around, and you look into that, and what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing like bronze, and of course it's catching the light and it's all flicking around. Maybe you can see that there. Yeah, you can see that as well. You see that when that dark spoke, look at that, when the dark spokes, the lines start to go around, you see? Isn't that beautiful? Ah. You see, when I'm speaking like this, you can start to see why I'm so enthralled with them. Like much of nature, I'm engrossed in it because it's miraculous. And on all mushrooms which have gills, you get a difference in the variety of gill. There's lots of different varieties of these very, very delicate gills, and so we need to check those out as well. So I'll make a spore print of that as well. Put that down there. And I'll put them in the fridge so they don't dry out, because I will eat those. And now I'll just snip off the bottom of that, and when we do that we can see whether there's, you know, any maggots gone on, and we can see that it looks like there's been some maggots entering there. So what I'll do is I will have a look there. So there seems like there's been a bit of activity. So what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to cut it in half to see if there's... Oh, it's fine. So they're good to go. Now go in the pot. And so yeah, there we have it. Some variety of agaricus, field mushroom, which looks to be edible. Pretty sure it is. But even if I'm not 100% sure, because I've not eaten them before, then they're riskable, because at the most I'm just going to get an upset stomach. But I don't think so. You know, I'm highly confident because they're not staining yellow, you see. So there you go, guys. Oh, by the way, I ordered these wonderful jars. Now these cost about £4 each. They're pickling jars, storage jars, and they're 1 litre in size. And I looked around and around and around on Amazon and eBay, and I think I found these on eBay, and I got the perfect thing. And so for me to store my walnuts, I've got 2 of them on the go now, so I've got about 60 walnuts. I've got the white vinegar. All I need to do now is just to, well, it's about 10 days away, or maybe 2 weeks away before I boil up some vinegar, boil up the vinegar with the herbs in, and I'm going to use fresh herbs. So I'm going to put fresh ginger in, fresh coriander, black peppercorns, maybe a couple of other varieties of herb. Not quite made my mind up yet, I'll have to do a bit more research. But that's that then. So just for me, this is what life's about. It's about engaging with Mother Nature, the natural world. It's about eating from the land. It's about discovering what you can and what you can't eat. And the beautiful thing is these days that millions of people have died for us. So now we have all of these wonderful books writing about thousands of species, telling us, you know, what we can eat and what we can't eat, and you know, whether some will make our stomachs upset and others will kill us dead. But it's just a wonderful do you know what I mean? Things like that, you can eat stuff like that. And I'm going to eat them. Bolets, penny buns. But again, you've got to be careful because you get ones that look just like it, maybe like this one, and they'll really spoil your day. Or these will spoil your day, I don't know, I can't remember. But, you know, I'm going to be looking for all this different stuff and making sure I do my research and finding out. But most certainly I'm going to be eating one of these big puffballs. One of these. Now that one's a pretty rank looking puffball. As if there's a better picture. No, you would have thought you got a better picture in here, mate. Maybe this one's a bit more beautiful. But anyway, when you see them and they're very healthy and ripe, then they're beautiful and unblemished. Alright guys and gals, catch you later.